Welcome to this episode of Philodrip. But first, let me ask you something. Have you ever felt guilty for simply being tired? Like you're not tired of doing stuff, but you're tired of being alive. You want to crawl into a hole and never come out, but you feel bad because you think you should be more productive, or maybe you shouldn't complain. So you put on a mask, you push through, and then later you feel even worse because you were unable to perform at your best. Well, if you have, I have some good news for you. You're not lazy. They told you you're lazy. But what if your body is just reacting to a world that never lets you rest? What if there's nothing wrong with you? What if the problem is the world? We live in a culture that worships busyness. People say, keep going, hustle harder, no excuses. But what if we were designed to rest? What if we need stillness to thrive? What if we can't help but burn out when our entire environment is telling us to keep producing? When I read this quote by Marcus Aurelius, I thought of how it applies to this idea of laziness. He said, "The secret to a long and happy life is to little by little cease worrying about things which are beyond the power of our will."
Oh.
That's why they call it being laid back, because it comes from a place of power. Doesn't mean you don't care. It means you don't have to force it. Simone de Beauvoir wrote, "We are condemned to be free." And with that freedom comes a heavy burden. We have to make choices all the time. With every choice comes a potential for failure. We're constantly overwhelmed by possibilities, so we end up paralyzed by the fear of making the wrong decision. According to Beauvoir, the only way to deal with this anxiety is to take action. To throw yourself into the world, to choose something, and to follow it with all your heart. But even then, there's no guarantee that it will work out. In fact, there's a good chance that most of our projects will fail. And so the question is, how do we deal with that? How do we deal with the constant possibility of failure? How do we deal with the absurdity of existence? Albert Camus, he grappled with this question too. He called it absurd. He saw the human condition as absurd because we strive for happiness and meaning in a meaningless world. For Camus, the only way to deal with this absurdity was to revolt, but not in a violent way. Rather, to revolt through acts of kindness, through acts of creation, through acts of love. To revolt is to say yes to life, to say yes to the world despite its absurdity. Byung-Chul Han calls it exhaustion from freedom. Marcuse called it one-dimensional, but I think it's something that we all experience. It's that feeling of emptiness that comes from doing what you're told to do, from following rules that you don't agree with. It's that feeling of dread that comes from knowing that you have to wake up tomorrow and do it all again. But here's the thing. We're not broken. Our bodies aren't broken. The problem is the world. The world is broken. It's hurting, and we're all trying to find ways to cope with it. Some people stay busy to avoid the pain. Others turn to drugs or alcohol. Still others find solace in nature or in the company of loved ones. But whatever we do, we're all trying to deal with the same thing, the same absurdity, the same meaninglessness. So the next time you feel guilty for being tired, remember that you're not lazy. You're resisting. You're resisting the absurdity of existence. You're resisting the brokenness of the world. You're resisting quietly. What about you? What do you do when you're tired? What helps you cope with the absurdity of existence? Let us know in the comments. And now it's time for our final text overlay. Remember, rest is not laziness. It's resistance. Don't forget to subscribe for new philosophical videos every week. Like this video if you liked it, share it with a friend. Above all, thanks for watching.